And speaking of numbers, the official start of the 2021 tax season next Friday, February 12th. This is, of course, the day the IRS will start accepting and then processing your 2020 tax returns.
And Fox 35's Andrea Jackson is here in studio right now with what you need to know when you file that 2020 return. And Andrea, there's a lot of changes this year.
Yeah, the one thing that's not changing is when your taxes are due. You're still held to that April 15th date, just an FYI. But another big question this year, should I file my own taxes? We called on tax pro Doug Probble, the GM with Jackson Hewitt here in Orlando, for the pros and the cons.
Considering all the changes in 2020 and with so many do-it-yourself tax options, is it really worth it to do your own taxes?
If you have a really simple tax return and you want to do it yourself, knock yourself out. But this is a year I strongly encourage people to meet with a professional. The look-back provision for the EIC and the child tax credit, making sure your stimulus is correct and you're not missing stuff that you're entitled to, not putting the stimulus on and creating taxes for yourself that you shouldn't have, realizing that you can fix things.
Think about how much your time is worth, and if you do make a mistake, understand that you're pretty much on your own.
If you're doing it yourself, you're going to spend the weekend doing the taxes, and you might make a mistake and have to deal with the IRS, and nobody wants to get a letter from the IRS.
And what if someone has stolen your identity?
How identity thieves generally fraudulently file tax returns in your name is, as soon as the IRS opens for electronically filing, they've received your social security number and date of birth from somewhere. Who knows where, but they file a fraudulent tax return as fast as they can, and the IRS just accepts the first tax return that has that social security number on it and assumes it's correct.
If your file is rejected, it could mean someone has stolen your information and filed a fraudulent tax return.
In that circumstance, you're going to have to go through a manual process with the IRS. It's not fun, it's not easy, but you're going to have to basically deal with the IRS in person.
And if this does happen to you, you will have to prove your identity to the IRS, show your work and address history and previous tax returns. It's another reason to file as early as possible. Amy?
So, Andrea, are there any additional layers of security to protect you and make sure that your tax information stays safe?
Yeah, the IRS is now using what's called an encrypted PIN, something they added a few years ago. It's called the IP PIN, or Identity Protection PIN. It's a separate number you receive each year that must be attached to your tax return. Otherwise, they will not accept it. Amy, Brian?